Everybody to the Ashland Board of Health meeting, July 19th, 2022. Just a disclaimer, this agenda is subject to change and includes those items reasonably anticipated by the chair to be discussed at the meeting. Not all agenda items may in fact be discussed, and other agenda items not listed may be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. So with that, we'll call the meeting to order at, I have 6:07 p.m. And as always, first item is citizens' participation. I see Mark is a regular participant. What do you have for us tonight?
What I have for you tonight is a good evening and welcome to Ashland summer. And just before we came on, I heard Rod say he's going to talk about cooling spots in town and all that. I'm gonna be asking almost the same question, but not for the cooling spots. How is the community center set up for the elderly and medical staff in case of any elderly heat stroke events? How's the town set up for it?
Yes, Mr. Mark. So as I mentioned earlier, there are two cooling centers set up for tomorrow at the community center from 8 to 7. As well as at the Ashland Library, that's going to be from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Now our fire captain, Captain Lynn Morahan, she's going to be the emergency contact person in case somebody need assistance during the heat period. And we'll probably be doing a reverse 911 call tomorrow, so it can reach wider citizens or residents. So that's the plan, and we'll be monitoring the situation for the whole week. I know the whole week is going to be hot, especially the end of the week. So we'll keep the citizens informed on that.
That's for the under 50s and in good health. What about the elderly over 65, 75? What about them?
I mean, the emergency service, to my understanding, what I was informed that Captain Lynn will be available, if there is any calls for that reason.
Then what about the let's say the rest of the town for reverse 911 calls to say that the community center could be open and have medical staff on staff in there for the elder. I'm just looking out for the elder now. Taking care of my dad. We're all set here. But I'm just looking out for them that they don't have families, that they're in the houses by themselves and they don't have anybody to reach. How do you do that?
Correct. So that's how it's set up, So Captain Lynn, she have medical professionals, so that'll be taken care. If you make the call to the fire department or over 911, it'll be taken care.
And then what about why not send out people to do community elderly health checks?
Say that one more time, please.
Community elderly health checks, because there are some elderlies that live by themselves, don't have a family left that nobody really checks on. And on days like this, just to make sure and have all throughout the town wide to understand that they are being looked after. It'd be just like in the winter, when in a blizzard where they're stuck in the house because of that, it'd be the same sort of idea for a heat wave that's going to be going on for about a week.
I would think that there's probably not town resources available for that, Mark. I think people have to use their good judgment and most likely contact any emergency service in those instances. I've never known that to be available, which I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's the way it is.
So the way it is, I understand about like a staff and all that, but let's just put in an example. Let's say you have an elderly person that gets out of the house that has dementia and walks around in this heat. How would you react to that?
I don't think you can plan for every emergency, Mark. I mean, you can what if all day, but there's no perfect. I think the way that it's set up in town is probably as good as it's getting. I think people have to use their good judgment. if you're demented, you can get lost any day in beautiful weather and be just as much in trouble as you can on a hot day or a cold day. So, yeah, I don't know that that's a question you can answer under these circumstances at this meeting.
Other than cooling spots,
Yeah.
the elderly just got to be watched after too. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Raj, thank you. Mark, thank you. Moving on to agenda item number 3, Ashland Housing Authority, 51B Park Road and 41D Park Road, non-compliance order to correct letters. Raj had given me a little bit of a heads up earlier in the day, and that, at least from what we had spoken about, he said that 51B Park Road should be all set. Do you want to, say anything more about that, Raj, or is that good enough?
That is correct. So I did have a re-inspection yesterday. So all the items except one was addressed when I went into the unit, but later in the evening that item was also addressed. So yes, this 51B is addressed for right now, And
Okay.
I can brief the whole board on 41D, so what's going on.
Okay.
I guess this was early in the year. Barbara Joy called us, regarding her not having the stove in her unit. We did respond back to her, but from her side, there was no response. And I was told when she reached out to us in last week of May that she was hospitalized, when I got in based on her information or complaint in last week of May, I have found that the cooking unit was not functional, and it was a violation of State Sanitary Code 105 CMR 410. We have issued a order letter that was dated, I guess, 31st May 2022. And I was in touch with the housing authority, on that, and have not got compliance. So that's why we are here, Right. So that the letter was issued May 31st, 2022.
Okay. So, at least, from the multiple documents, at least as far as, I've seen, there was a fire in the apartment from bacon being left on the stove. And apparently there was either an issue with the stove or just, unattending of it. The fire department had ordered that the stove be basically decommissioned and deemed unusable until there were either safeguards in place and or until there was some type of medical documentation that Ms. Joy is able to utilize the range or the stove in a safe way. Apparently there have been some other issues within there as far as cleanliness issues on the porch that the housing authority has had to incur expenses for, at least a $500 expense for cleaning up the outside porch, which was becoming a hazard. And there are definitely at least a second hazard, which is probably more egregious than the first, where the Ms. Joy is smoking in the apartment, which is apparently not allowed. And she's also on oxygen, which is extremely dangerous.
I would like to.
You certainly shouldn't be smoking. You certainly shouldn't be smoking, around that. And that is really puts the rest of the residents at risk.
May I?
So you can in a
All
minute.
right,
I'm just trying to
All right, I'm not used to
let
these.
everybody know. Apparently, Candace Avery, who's the executive director of the Housing Authority, has been in touch with Barbara regarding these things, and I believe that according to multiple warnings, that you could be subject of eviction if these notices are not taken seriously. I don't know if there's anything I'm missing in there, Raj, or if there's anything else any other board members have to add, but so far, that's pretty much as far as I've gotten. So,
Only
yeah,
thing,
go ahead, Barbara.
All right, I just want to say that number one, I don't know what she's talking about the cleanup. Yes, I had a lot of things on the porch, which she knew I was trying to get a company to come out and take it. She hired someone, I think it was because of the senior center got a hold of her, a Bay Path, and they took out the furniture. So that probably did cost $500, but I never asked the association to do it.
Okay.
I do not smoke in my apartment. I'm on oxygen. I'm not well. I have cancer. Now, I have not had a stove for 9 months. And I have cancer and I'm getting food, takeout food. It's costing me a fortune. And it's just got to the point that this is completely ridiculous. I mean, I'm going to say that this is her word against mine because Candace and I have not had a pleasant relationship.
and
Okay, Raj, you have anything to
Dr.
add to
Ron,
that? Is
only
that
thing I
accurate?
want to add, given I was told also that this is that the unit is made dysfunctional or but it is decommissioned by the fire department. But when I had a conversation with the fire captain Lynn, I was informed that that's not the case. It's not the requirement of the fire department. That they said yes, because of the fire it was disabled, but it can be replaced or repaired anytime. So that was from the fire department.
I put out that fire. I broke my foot. I broke my back and my T7, but I got up, threw off my oxygen and put the fire right out. No one came up here while the alarm was going off. I didn't have anyone up here for at least a half an hour. So, and as far as leaving it on the stove, I didn't leave it on the stove cooking. I drained the bacon off, put it on a plate, walked away from the stove, and the kitchens are so small, they're like closets. And I probably hit against the knob and it turned on.
Okay, so Raj, just for clarification for me, what did the fire department say was the issue with the stove and why it had to be fixed or corrected?
Dr. Ron, so my conversation was she mentioned Captain Lynn that yes, there was a fire and based on that it was disabled, the unit was disabled, but as I was told by the housing authority, I mean, it's not the fire department who is putting a restriction, and that's one thing I'm trying to understand, where is this coming from, so I guess with the email that was sent at 5 o'clock this evening, and I guess if you guys might have got it too, it seems the housing authority board have, I mean, it has come in front of the board. I'm not sure, but yes, that's what I was trying to understand,
Okay.
Where this case was heading, and we have timelines on compliance. I just wanted to make sure, and I totally understand from the other side about the safety of the situation, but I'm just trying to look for some resolution, how to solve this or what's moving forward.
Of course.
Mr. Burkowski, if I'm saying that right, my name is Richard Maher. I'm the chairman of the Housing Authority. I also live at Park Road. My address is 45B Park Road, and I am the chairman. I don't know if Candace is still on the line or not. She was having trouble with her phone.
She is.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
All right, Candace, do you want to comment on this rather than me?
So, no, if you have something to say, Dickie, I mean, so
No,
I would
was
like to
just gonna
respond.
support you, but why don't you? They're saying that the fire department.
No,
Barbara-
I heard, Dickie, I heard everything.
Okay.
So if you're handing this over to me, what I'll bring to the table is this. Any action of the housing authority is not personally related. There is no personal conviction as referenced by Barbara Joy, that this is due to a conflict of personality. This is solely based on safety and security of the residents. So in history, starting with the clean out of her unit, we had to work for months, including with the Board of Health and the prior director of the Board of Health, in that it was a hazard out on that porch. And so we tried to work with Barbara for months and months and months. And she continually said that our aides were going to clear it off. There was debris actually like melting through the porch. It was a disaster. The residents were absolutely beside themselves from the smell, from the infestation that was beginning. So we then stepped in after giving her time and trying to work with her to clear that off. We stepped in and we offered to have the unit cleared off, because we needed to resolve it, and we wanted to resolve it for the safety and the health and well-being of our other residents. It did cost $500 for us to clear that off. She cried. She was incredibly grateful. She said thank you 100 times. So how that turn of event has happened is something altogether different. We did it to ensure health and safety measures, because she had brought it to the point where it was hazardous to the health and well-being of others, as well as herself. So that issue aside, we then move forward with smoking in the unit and the fire in the unit. And we, on different occasions, and Barbara has been a resident of the Housing Authority for many years, on a minor basis over years past, she had no problem and understands the procedure under reasonable accommodation in regards to any matter of safety and health, is that she would have to get a note from her doctor. So for example, on a smaller level, she wanted to house her shopping cart down in the hallways. And under the state regulation, we can't have anything stored in the hallways. She went to her doctor, got a letter from the doctor, knew the process immediately without us even saying anything to her. She got a letter from the doctor stating that because of her sciatica, the push cart needed to be stored down in the hallway. So then we have that on file. And again, it's in support of the parameters set forward by the state, which she was then going against in order to have reasonable accommodation for this issue. Moving forward with smoking, we are a no smoking property. Nobody can smoke on the property. She has received multiple fines over the years.
No,
When this fire happened, yes, you have.
No,
When
I have
this
not.
fire happened, we don't need to get into that, Barbara. It's in the system, and we have those fines in the system.
So it's your word against mine is what it is.
No,
Candace,
actually,
because
Barbara,
on-
can I finish,
on the
Barbara?
porch, let me finish. On the porch, there was furniture. There was no garbage. There was no smell. You were just going along and making things up.
Barbara, the Board of Health inspected it. There was debris, there were trash bags, there was food.
I would
That's
like to
okay.
see that report, please.
I am sure that they have it.
I
So
would
that
like to
being
see it.
said, okay, that being said, moving forward, we have a no smoking policy.
I am
Not
not
only is-
smoking.
Okay. On top of that, when this fire happened, she also had items in the unit suggestive of smoking, which
I
was why
do-
it was addressed in the
Barbara.
notice sent
This
to
is
her.
really off subject, Candace, and if you know enough.
Barbara, please, you had a chance to speak and you'll get another chance. Let Candace finish.
All right, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
These documents that are sent out from the Housing Authority, they're formal, they're kept on record, they're kept in the file, they're sent to the resident, and they're kept in their file. These are what have been forwarded over to the Board of Health. So following the fire, not only was it a major issue, she had left bacon, and this was exactly what was relayed to us. She left bacon on the stove because she likes it extra crispy. She forgot about it. It is an electric stove. It takes a long time for something like that to ignite into an open flame. She had her oxygen on because she needs it 24/7, and she stores oxygen tanks in her unit for the backup. So at times there are 2 or 3 other oxygen tanks in the unit as well. She went over and immediately started to try to fan that flame out with the oxygen on her face after forgetting about this bacon probably for a good hour before it lit on fire. Fire department responded. If she's saying that no one was in that unit, then there's a failed response on a whole different level, but we responded. We immediately followed up that response with the fire department disabling that stove based on their regulation with a notice to her that she would need to go and see her doctor, get supporting documentation that she could live and cook independently. We ordered her a new stove, but we told her that until she got that notice from her doctor, that we would not reinstall that stove based on the incident that happened that literally could have blown not only she up, but that whole entire building. There was enough oxygen in the oxygen saturation in that unit, noting the fire and on top of that, cigarettes in the unit, that she could have literally blown that property up. So that being said, the housing authority agreed and our board members are here to support this. And you have the notifications. We address this month after month. I was touched. I got in contact. Jennifer Wolfing called me as Barbara called her. I expressed the same thing to Jennifer. I got a call from Metro West Legal. I expressed the same thing to her. Months later, Raj came into his position. I expressed this after the notice that went out in May. We also spoke to a state rep. We explained the same thing. And all along the way, everyone's in agreement for the safety and well-being of everyone, including Barbara, that she needs a note from her doctor in order to confirm that she can still live independently and cook independently in that unit. She will not supply that note, even though she'll supply it for smaller items. She will not supply that note to the housing authority in order for us to reinstall the stove. She's still allowed, she has a microwave, she has the ability, Meals on Wheels comes, she has access to food, and even though she's stating she's incurring expense, she has eligibility through Meals on Wheels, the Council on Aging, and everyone else supportive of making sure that she's healthy and safe without exposing herself and others to the dangers of either forgetting or a fire or smoking in that unit with oxygen saturation, which is explosive. So I will leave it at that. I'm going to hand it over to the board to add anything that they would like to add. But I do want to conclude this with the fact that we have given her every opportunity, and every representative who has stood there and followed up on her calls for her advocacy of herself has told her the same thing. This was an incredibly dangerous situation. You are unwell and you need to get a letter from your doctor in order to prevent anything like this from happening as a supportive measure for us to reactivate that stove, which we have, waiting until she gets that letter from her doctor.
Okay.
I would like to respond.
Yeah, go ahead.
Number one, if I put out a fire with oxygen on my face, I would have blown myself up.
Yeah,
Number two.
Barbara, okay, so I'm a doctor and that is not true. Okay, it can be explosive. It doesn't mean it's going to be explosive.
If it's not on my
it's an extremely dangerous situation. So every time I'm in an OR, we ask if there's a fire hazard, and there's oxygen in every OR, and that's brought up every single time. So you can't tell me that. I know that's not right.
Well, I did not have the oxygen on. It was on.
It's in the living room. It's in the apartment. It doesn't matter if it's directly on you.
But Candace said that I was putting out the fire with the oxygen on my face. That is ridiculous. And you know that.
Candace did
I
not
don't
say that.
I don't know that.
That if I had oxygen on my face and there were flames coming up, it wouldn't have blown my face up.
Yeah.
Come on. And another thing, I never said that I left bacon on the stove to get it crispy. I don't smoke in my apartment. What was out on my porch was furniture. It was never any garbage or anything like that.
Barbara, you're just reiterating the same thing. This is all documented. I have no reason to believe that Camden or Richard from the Housing Authority are going to be lying because they have any kind of vendetta against you. Apparently, you've smoked multiple times in there and you've been warned against that. And this is an issue. So the only thing I see that the big issue is why you don't have a stove is that you don't have documentation from your doctor that you are competent to live in that apartment independently and not put other residents in danger. Do you have that letter?
I've sent in, you received that today, that I am.
Okay, well,
competent.
I tried to read it and I can't read any of it.
Well, I will
So
drop it
if
off.
that,
I'll have
if
my
that's the
housekeeper
letter,
drop it off.
okay, so, and
But by
so.
whatever, I mean, for you to say that I'm lying, but Candace isn't lying, is
I didn't,
utterly ridiculous.
Okay,
Because
because I know
many
what oxygen
times
does,
Candace
so
is
I
lying.
know you're not telling. Barbara, this is not a he said, she said thing. These are things that are documented. So
Yes, because she
you can go,
documented things that were untrue.
nobody's making things up. They have better
Oh,
things to
yes.
do. This is a safety issue, which I don't know that you're getting. So having flames in a house where there's oxygen, it doesn't have to be in the same area. I would bet that your oxygen was still on, even if it was in the other room. That's a hazard. And
Well,
you
you mean
need to
I should never,
understand
now,
that
if I
for
get a
your
new stove, I
safety,
should never use
as
it.
well as some, Barbara, stop, please.
But
There's
you're
no
telling me-
reason to talk over me. I've let you talk. I have no reason to believe, nor do I think the other board members do, that there's inaccurate representations of what's going on. At least, that's my guess. So if you want to look at reports, they're all public record. You can find them. So if you have a letter that complies with what Candace and Richard from the Housing Authority are saying, then my feeling is that you'll probably get your stove turned back on, even if that's not in the best interest of everybody. But so far, they have not seen that letter.
Well,
We have not gotten it.
I sent that form in. I mean, if they want me to get a competency test, they can pay for the doctor. My medical doctor, as you know, if you're a doctor, is not going to write down about my competency because he doesn't know me
Of course he
outside of his
is.
office.
He's the only one. Of course he is. He's the only one that's able to do that from a medical legal standpoint.
He's
So
not a
that is
therapist, he's not a psychiatrist.
It doesn't have to be a psychiatrist. It has to be a trained
My doctor,
medical
they refuse
professional.
to do it. Both my doctors, my cancer doctor and my physical.
Right. Okay. So then you have to go out and provide that information. That's what they're asking you to do. And so far you haven't complied. If he can make other requests for you on behalf of your health, he can do this too. So that is an inaccurate statement.
I don't believe it is.
Okay, well, I do
That
believe it is because
it's
it's what I
personal.
do.
He personally feels like that. Maybe you would give one like that. My oncologist doesn't want to do a letter either. They say they are not accredited to do something like that about my competency in mental
Okay.
health.
Okay, well, all
I
right,
mean-
then who is?
Well, let's take a look at this too. It's been COVID for over a couple of years, so a lot of appointments have been on the phone. But I have seen my doctors in person,
Okay,
and they don't want to be liable for saying that I'm competent, and all of a sudden I leave the office and I'm a crazy woman.
okay, well, they can't
Because
help
he's
that either.
liable because he
but
said I was competent.
You need to comply with the request of the housing authority to be able to get your stove turned back
Well,
on.
if my doctors
That's-
won't do it, then you're saying that I don't get a stove. Is that what you're telling me?
Apparently that's what it is, because I don't believe that that's the case.
Mr.
When
Chairman,
somebody
can
comes to
I
me
weigh in
and
here?
I'm treating them. If there's any incapacitation that they have, then I write them the letter with respect to the parameters of the law that I'm responsible for.
Well, it feels to
So-
me that this meeting is just, you're all for the people that work for the town.
Mr. Chairman, can-
Mr.
Chairman, can I
people on the
weigh in here?
board, are all volunteers. Yeah, sure, John.
I don't care if you volunteer or not.
Barbara?
Yes.
I've been a commissioner with the Housing Authority for 10 years, and I'm at the point right now where I can't even believe I'm in this meeting. We've reached out to you. We've offered to help you. I will even help you and contact your doctor to do this, but I want to stress to the chairman and to the rest of the board. I want to stress to the rest of the Board of Health that, and I have some history with this board and certainly with the chairman, that safety is always my first priority. And we are not going to relent until we get that note. Barbara, as you know, we will bend over backwards to help you work with your doctor, but we're not going to turn this into a he said or she said. And to be honest with you, Barbara, and you know this, we're a state agency. We're not a town agency. So this is a collaboration between the town and the state. And I'll make this public right now in a public meeting. If you want me to contact your doctor to help facilitate this, we are. But for you to sit here and say tonight that you've never been fined for smoking is blatantly wrong.
Oh, I've never been fined for smoking. Never once.
But Barbara, you have.
I haven't. Show them to me. Show me the fines, the notices of fines.
We will.
I'm sure you will.
The safety of the rest of the residents is much more important than a disagreement between the director and yourself. So.
And about everybody else here too.
There is no disagreement between everybody else. I'm offering to help you.
Well, I won't go into that because that has nothing to do with this. But yes, I'll have you work with my doctor.
Okay.
That would be wonderful.
Okay, great. So you're an understanding that we're not going to release that until we get the doctor's note done, right?
Right. I'm going to also pursue other avenues because this is not right.
Okay.
I mean, you're.
But Barbara, we've asked you for 9 months. We've asked you for 9 months for it.
I told you, my doctors do not want to write a note like that. They don't want to be liable.
Then they should write that so that you have that on file and you can present it to us.
And just for reiteration on the fact that as far as supportive measures go, I have worked with all of the individuals that Barbara has been reaching out to advocate. So her state rep, Metro West Legal, Jennifer Wolfing, now the board, and the Board of Health. And at all points in time, we have said exactly the same thing, and we have always been willing to help. There has never been a point where we have not put ourselves out to try to assist, but this truly endangers everybody on a very, very, very extreme level. The volume of oxygen in that unit is tremendous, and she uses the oxygen 24/7. It is on 24/7. Saturation in that unit is at its max, and really and truly, I could not have been more grateful that this was not something tremendously explosive.
No, please.
Yeah. Okay. Barbara, just by your attitude, it doesn't seem like you're taking this seriously. So, the board is here to try to help. John has generously informed you, as has Candace, that they will help you in any way that they can. So I don't know where the animosity comes from. They have no reason to not tell the truth. If there's how many people are living in the housing authority and how many people have had incidents with the housing authority. So it just seems like a little bit of a pattern. And I think you need to comply with this order.
Well,
and you need to take it seriously.
I would like to say that any documentation, I mean, if it's not true, she can document anything. Most of what she said is not true.
Okay, well, you can say that, but there are multiple people that have
blame my dog for taking a dump in the common room. She had a picture of it. I took a picture of my tiny little dog's excretion, and it was not the same. So that's the only time she threatened to fine me.
No, so you just in finale, because this is going someplace different. Right. It is more of a supportive statement, and the picture came from other residents because the poor dog was soiling everywhere because it couldn't be taken out because she didn't have the capacity to take it out, and it was going to the bathroom. Enough.
Understood.
Enough.
Let's just stick to the stove.
So ridiculous. Thank you. Yeah. So ridiculous.
Okay. Barbara, okay. Ed, can you shed any light on this? You know, since you've probably seen things like this in the past, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, yeah, like I said, I don't know what physician would not write a supportive letter for a patient, especially if they feel that everything is fine. I have never not had a physician be able to write a letter on someone's behalf. Maybe the letter is not being written because there are some concerns about safety.
Oh, please. Well, I'll have you work with my doctor, have John can work with my doctor. I'm perfectly competent. I drive. And I am going to add that my little dog has training pads that she always uses. That's why she doesn't go out all the time. And if she doesn't go out all the time, how is she making messes all over the place? I mean, this is what I mean about being
Barbara, okay.
This is exactly what I mean.
Okay, this is, it's not, you know, the time or place. Raj, you have anything else that you need to add, or John?
I guess, Dr. Ron, Barbara Barbara Board of Health member want to say something. I guess I saw her hand couple of times.
Okay. No, I'm not seeing.
Okay.
Oh, hi Barbara, I didn't see you there, sorry.
Oh,
that's okay.
I'm not on camera.
Okay.
No, it's
No.
Barbara. It's me, Barbara.
Yeah.
A question for you, Barbara. What does your doctor say about the use of your oxygen? Are you supposed to have it in all times?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Your oxygen, are you supposed
Yes.
to be using it at all times? How long can you go without it?
Not long. Not long. I'm on a
Okay, so
condenser.
that makes
I'm
it
not
hard
on.
for you to. Yeah, so with you being on the stove, you have to be at least 5 feet away from the oxygen. So if you're gonna be cooking while you need the oxygen on it, that is.
Oh,
very
yeah, no, I
unsafe.
can take it off for short periods, which I do. And I'm on a condenser. It's not like I have open bottles of oxygen. I mean, they're not open. They're just bottles ready to be used if I need them to leave my home. When I'm in my home, I have a condenser.
Okay.
And that's much different than having, you know, the oxygen tank.
Yeah. I thought you had said you needed it. The doctor has the order that you need it at all times. So maybe that's why they are not writing that letter for you, because according to their records, you need to be having the oxygen. So
Yeah,
then
no,
to say safe to cook, it'll be risky for them too.
Yeah, what I think it is they just don't want to be liable. I mean, two of my doctors, my oncologist and my primary, I asked them both, I said, oh, we don't feel comfortable doing that.
Which kind of
And
should tell you that it's not safe.
Correct. Yeah, go ahead, Barbara.
I mean, I know that's not what you want to hear, but it is a safety issue for you and everybody else in your building. Yeah, so and it blows up just it doesn't take a second, just you being next to it, it blow up very quickly.
Yeah, but I mean, there's nothing, I mean, that happened. I didn't leave the bacon on the stove.
Okay.
No,
I mean, the bacon was,
regardless,
the bacon was being drained, and I went into the other room and I must have hit the stove with my hip and turned it on. It's very small in there.
Okay. Well, okay. This is all right. It's enough back and forth. Raj, do you need
Thank you, Barbara.
anything further from us other than reiterating what you've stated and what Candace and Rich and John have stated as well?
Dr. Ron, again, you know, I'm satisfied with the response. Only thing I want to say, from the day this letter was issued was May 31st, you know. I didn't had any concrete response from the housing authority on this. And that's one reason I have to bring it before the board, you know, that the only communication, the housing board decision came to me today at 5 p.m., 4:59 exactly, you know.
Right.
And I had tried my best to get a response, you know, but I didn't get one, you know, that I should be informed, like, hey, this is housing authority board's decision, you know, that they've been involved, but I had none of that till 4:59 p.m. today, you know.
Okay.
Other
All right,
than
well-
that, you know, what been told by the fire department, I was told otherwise, you know, so if they have anything in writing from the fire department, I would like to see that. So we have that for record, you know, that this is fire department's requirement, but I was told otherwise by the fire captain. You know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think
Yeah.
Candace and did a great job of, giving us a play-by-play of the series of events. So that was very helpful. Thank you. And, John, thank you very much. So,
Nope.
as far as I'm concerned, unless the other board members have an issue, until you get that letter, my assumption is that stove cannot be,
Well, as
placed in
soon
it.
as John interacts with my doctor and gets the information, I'd like to know, when he does. I would like to see the reports too that they have. All these
Okay.
reports Candace was talking about, I would like copies of.
Mr. Chairman, if I
Alright.
may,
Okay.
just so I
Sure.
can bring closure
Sure.
to this. Barbara, if you send via Candace your doctor's information, and with your permission, I will talk to your doctors and then I will inform not only the Housing Authority, but the Board of Health
Right.
with your permission.
All right,
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
good?
and Barbara, just so you know, because I have this as well, so because of HIPAA regulations, you're gonna have to have a signed letter by you that gives John the authority to speak to your
Correct.
physician regarding your health, or they're not gonna speak with him. So you need to do that prior to John being able to do that. I'm just
Yeah, I
letting you
don't
know.
need a copy. I could do it by email.
That would be
You-
great.
However, your doctor's office is gonna take it, but I'm just telling
Okay,
you that
that's
that
fine.
needs to be done.
That's
Okay.
fine.
Okay,
And just one more question, as I know we're bringing this to close. I know that there was a mention that you had received a letter from Barbara's doctor. The Housing Authority hasn't been issued anything. Can you forward that to me so I can see that document?
it's illegible. You can't, from the
I can
way
have it
that the
sent right
picture was
down to her.
taken,
I'll have my
You
housekeeper bring
can't-
it down.
yeah. Laura
Is it-
had tried to send me it. I can't read anything on it, so it's useless for now.
Okay,
But yeah,
Candace,
Barbara needs to, supply you with the documentation that you've asked for. That's her responsibility.
okay, very good.
Okay, all
Well,
right.
thank you guys for
All
helping
right.
out. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank John, thank you, Candace, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Rich,
for your
Richard,
attention.
thank you. You're welcome to stay, but I'm sure everybody has better things to do. So,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Barbara,
right.
as well.
thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, it must be the
right.
wrong Barbara. Thank you.
Great. Yep, you're welcome. Okay. So moving on to item 4, reappointment of burial agents. Cindy Livingston, Ashland Town Clerk, Chris Sullivan, Ashland Town Assistant Clerk, and John Matarese Senior and Junior. I guess anybody can we pass these as a single unit?
You
Yeah.
can,
Ron, do you
yeah.
have the same agenda that I'm looking at? Is that item 4?
Do I not have? That's what I have. Is that not what you have?
I think the one I sent you, Ron, was when I was preparing it. I think I changed it after I sent that.
Oh,
to
you
So
did?
should-
Uh-oh.
Well, I sent it to you did you get the Board of Health email when everything was put together?
I did. I was only assuming that was the same. Hang on.
I'm good with it either way, Ron.
No, okay. Is that all right? Apparently I'm out of order. My mistake.
Sorry, I just moved it into the consent agenda to make things easier.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're right. Okay.
Sorry about
All right. So, I guess we're doing fee schedule and minor revisions.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Yeah, that's okay. I didn't think that had changed, Laura. So that's my mistake. That's the only one out of all that I didn't read.
Just to let you know.
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So, Raj, what were you thinking about, changing as far as the fee schedule goes? you're muted, my friend.
Dr. Ron, a couple of changes,
Yeah.
What was happening earlier, we didn't have any fees for temporary animal permits,
Okay,
But, we have encountered, but we have to issue a couple of animal permits. There is a animal event at the library on Friday. Then the farmers market is bringing some animals on Saturday, so we have to issue them permits. That was not in the schedule. So
okay,
that's one thing we have put on the fee schedule. There is another thing that we're encountering with the repairs of the wells, both irrigation as well as water wells. So we have added a fee for that. So these are two additions. We didn't have it on our fee schedule.
okay. All right. Great. So nothing that we have to vote on. That's just the fees are what they are, correct? Raj? So that's
I'm
nothing that we
sorry,
have to
I
vote
cannot
on.
hear you, Dr. Ron.
Yeah, the fees are what they are. There's nothing else we need to do.
I think you should vote on the revisions for the new fee schedule.
We need to vote on that.
There's a couple changes. Do you agree, Raj? I think so.
You need to vote on it. Yeah, you
Yeah.
need to vote on
We
it.
do.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I'll make a motion to approve the updated fee schedule as presented.
Second.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi, Barbara.
Okay, all right, that passes 4-0. All right, and Jay, got anything for us for the remote area medical agenda item 5? Any updates?
Yeah, I do. So the RAM representative was supposed to come out on July 13th, last Wednesday, and unfortunately she got COVID and she's fine. But of course that trip had to be canceled. So we are rescheduling that for September 1st. And that'll be fine, but that's the only update I've got.
Okay,
Jay, I have something.
Sure.
So Jay, I got us on the agenda for September 16th at 8 a.m. For the Metropolitan Boston EMS Council Board of Directors meeting. That is where there is liaisons from pretty much every major hospital from us to Boston. So it's going to be a good opportunity if you're available to do a big volunteer push and get all those hospitals on board to get as many volunteers as we can.
Excellent. That's good
So
news.
we are on the agenda already, September 16th, 8 a.m.
Okay.
And it's going to be by Zoom.
Okay. All right. I'll follow up with you offline on details of that. Thank you very much for setting that up.
yeah, thanks, Ed. Okay. All right, moving on to 6, the consent agenda. We can either, I don't know if we have to do all these individually either. I never remember. Can we pass the consent agenda as a whole?
Yes.
Right? Okay. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make them. Okay. Good. I guess I'll do it, Ed. I'll make a motion to pass the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Okay, that's great. All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye, Jay.
Hi, Barbara.
Ron. Okay, thanks, Barbara. Okay, and Raj, you're full of the information in this. You're up again.
Yes, sir, thank you. Sorry, but my system was giving me some problems,
That's okay. It happens.
Yes, sir, thank you. I guess now with COVID-19, I guess all of you will agree with me, the numbers was up last week, a little bit up this week also, and I guess the state of Massachusetts saw like around 40% more cases last week than the week before.
Right.
So we definitely had some uptick with the new variant BA.5, we are getting some vaccine from Framingham Health Department, we have requested some vaccine from them. So we'll be shortly putting up some more clinics for vaccinations. for COVID vaccines booster doses, both for 50 plus as well as 5 to 11 years old. We still have a lot of test kits. If any of the residents wants, they can get it from the health department or the manager's office, as well as at the senior center. Item B, Arbovirus. We so far in the state last week we had one mosquito West Nile virus sample positive in Eastern. There are no human cases or animal cases at this point, both with the West Nile and Tripoli. But the property 10 Saddle Hill Lane, we had a well driller come to the office June 28th and stating that the property at 10 Saddle Hill Lane have no water, that the well is not producing water. From then, I have been on the property twice. They definitely are going through issues, but when I was there last week with our conservation agent, where they are marking the well is in the wetland area. It's falling under their zone. So before they can come to Board of Health, for any variance, we have asked them to get conservation approval. So we are just waiting on that. It's probably going to be maybe next meeting or maybe meeting. We might have to call an emergency one for just this one, because it seems the resident is out of water at this point. We did had a change of ownership at the Honeydew on 236 Pond Street. This is the Honeydew. We had some issues last year, for them not applying for the permit, and some other issues but now there is a change of ownership. And last week, Wednesday, we did our inspection for the new owner and we had issued them a permit since.
Great.
Farmers market is going well. Only thing this weekend, they are bringing some animals. They're going to be 2 alpacas that we have issued a permit for. They're going to be 4 goats that we have issued another permit. And then one of the residents who's already permitted by the department is bringing 2 more goats. We had some funds that under grant that we are buying a hand wash station that'll be used at the farmers market or any other event the town might need the hand wash station, so that we have it for the farmers market so far. The childhood vaccine program is doing great. We have so far vaccinated 61 kids under this program. Out of these, 42 was Ashland kids and 19 kids from Hudson. We have given 123 vaccines so far under the program. And that's all I have, man. I am open for any questions, please.
Yeah. So that's great about the vaccines. Where are the other, so you have what, about 60? Where's the other half coming from? All over the place, Framingham and?
Sir, 42 Ashland kids and 19 from Hudson.
Right. Oh, you say that's just, but didn't you say 123 total or no?
No, those are the total number of vaccines that we have administered.
Oh, the total, I see. For those kids, right. So multiple for each. I got it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's really great.
I mean, Sergeant Berman, and Diane have played a big role in putting this clinic together, so. Yeah. I mean, that was, they had done a lot of work on this. So.
Yeah, it does a lot of work on everything. So, for sure.
I knew Sergeant Berman. It looks like you're in your house now. You was in the Cape in the afternoon.
I was the Cape today at a meeting, and now I'm back.
Yeah, still working. Maybe he'll get a chance to rest a little bit. So we're going to have to table item 9, reorganization of the board, since we're not full. So hopefully we'll get that done at some point in the future. And agenda item 10, meeting dates and topics for future meetings. So I'm assuming that underneath there, the keeping of animal regulations is for next in next meeting, or is that to be discussed now?
I can give you an update, Dr. Ron. You know, this,
Okay.
this is, I guess, today we was informed by the resident, you know, at 171 Prospect Street, that they're not going to pursue the variance. You know, this started a couple of months back on a complaint that this property at 171 had a chicken coop without permit, and there was a rooster and the chickens was all over neighbor's property. We have to send a order to correct letter, you know, for them to, you know, comply with the current regulation and apply for a permit. But because they was also in the wetland area and they was within 25 feet of the wetland area, the Conservation Commission was involved and multiple inspections was done. The Conservation Commission have asked, right, like they want to work with the property and they want to file an RDA, but they wanted our opinion first, the Board of Health's opinion, you know, because our regulation says that the coop need to be outside, you know, of 100 feet zone, you know, of the wetland. So, but we have informed the resident last week, as I guess Laura sent an email stating, right, hey, you have to inform the butters and all that, you know, through a certified mail. That you want to pursue this, but it seems today we had a communication from them that they don't want to pursue it, and we have to ask them to get rid of the coop, you know.
Okay.
And the birds.
Yep. Do you have any idea how long it's been there without, you know, being approved?
But I don't know, sir, you know, but we've definitely been dealing with this for a couple of months, you know.
Yeah.
It's a neighborhood issue too, you know, that I guess the neighbors are not getting along, but it was verified by our animal inspector, you know, that the rooster was there illegal, you know, the chickens was there, they was not complying with neither, you know, the Conservation Commission or our regulation, you know, so.
So what's the process now? Do they have some type of formal letter from, you know, either you or the town that says that this must be, you know, shown to be dismantled at a certain date?
We will look into this, sir. I guess this was, Laura can say more, but I guess this communication came in today. But we'll definitely work on that and make sure, you know, that if that's the case, that they don't want to approval from the Board of Health, I mean, that will be taken care, you know, we'll do that, you know.
Okay. If for whatever reason they change your mind, would that be something that you would support or not?
Absolutely, sir. You know, I mean, if they want to pursue it any time, you know, I mean, they have all rights to come in front of the board. But given, I mean, we already had a letter issued on the property, given there was without permit. But in case they change the mind, we'll give them opportunity again with board's permission, you know, in case it's still workable, you know. But I guess it was within 20 feet of the wetlands, you know, so it looks like a tight spot with the Conservation Commission too, you know.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Just, you know, let us know if there's anything we can do for you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. All right. All right. You know, just as far as, you know, the next meeting, usually it's, you know, another one. Anybody have any times they're going to be away? We have multiple dates we can, you know, look at in August if we're looking right around the same time. And I know a lot of people do like to take some time. I guess that would be Tuesday's the 1st. So it'd be the 16th.
I'm going to be gone. I was just going to tell you, Ron, I'm going to be gone on the 16th. And I mean, am I looking at the right month? I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Tuesday's there's the 2nd, 9th, and 16th. I'm gone on the 16th. Right.
16th. Okay. So the 9th or the 23rd could work for you as well.
I believe the 23rd would definitely work very well.
Okay.
I don't know if that's too far out. And I could make the 9th work, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. As long as there's 3 of us, we can always, you know, we can always do it. Ed, you have anything pressing? You're going to be able to take any time? No. So but yeah, and I'm available all the time too. So, well, Are you at least gonna tell us where
Yeah,
you're gonna
I'll
go
be
have fun,
available.
or are we you gonna keep us in the dark?
I'm going to Indiana. We're driving our daughter out to college.
Oh my God, that's
Oh,
beautiful.
wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Where's she going?
Indiana University.
IU, that's great.
Oh,
She's a
nice.
Hoosier girl.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so we're gonna, we'll drive, and then after we drop her off, just go up and visit Michigan. And we went to a grad school out at OSU, so we're kind of visiting those days. And
yeah, be like a
Up in the
homecoming.
Midwest.
How nice.
Yeah,
That's beautiful. Congratulations to you and the family.
thanks.
That's lovely. All right, so, all right, well, I'll tell you what, I'll have Laura throw an email around, and everybody can kind of maybe vote on some dates. And, obviously, just like, Laura, Raj, if there's anything urgent with any kind of, sewer systems, we can always call an urgent meeting. We'll see if we can, get either the 9th or the 23rd going for the
Absolutely.
regular meetings. That work?
Yes, the only thing might be that,
Okay.
It's just, I guess, the Conservation Commission is going in front of the Conservation Commission on the 8th, I guess,
Okay.
if I'm not wrong, but we will keep the board posted, if.
Yeah, we can always call, an urgent meeting, there'll be 3 of us, and he's not going away, anytime. So if we need something the 10th or the 11th or something like that, we can do that.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. Anybody else with anything to say? Barbara, anything? Because we didn't see you in the beginning. You okay?
Yes, sorry,
Okay.
it's just been a lot of things going on at work.
Yeah, no, that's okay. We get it. But yeah,
Yes,
thanks for coming on.
So I
All
try,
right.
yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, everybody. Last motion, always the best one. Anybody?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
There you go.
Second.
And I see the second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Aye,
Thank you,
Barbara.
everybody.
Good night.
Raj, thank you. Laura,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
thank you,
All
thank
the
you.
board members, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Good night.
Barbara,
Good night.
thank you.
Good night.
Bye, thank
Yeah.
you.
Bye-bye.